I was saying, y'all, it's your boy Rico from RicoScores, and what's good to my late crowd, man. Today and even tonight, well, technically last night, yesterday ended up being super busy and random for me, but I did not forget y'all, so we're just coming out with a video pretty late. So we're here to talk about a few things. First of all, the Washington Commanders will have a joint practice with the Miami Dolphins. We're also going to talk about, of course, how significant that is, but also what other teams we may have joint practices with this training camp. I'm super excited. Also, should the Washington Commanders go and sign left tackle David Bakhtiari to a short-term deal? Maybe he could be our starting left tackle for now. We're going to dive into his whole situation. There was an update from the NFL that he's fully healthy right now, and he's healthier than he's been in a couple of years, but does that even matter with how injury-prone he's been for the past couple of years? And then also, we got to talk about Jaden Daniels going to the Rookie Summit and how he was getting advice from Jay-Z and Tom Brady. We're going to dive into all of that and more, but before we do, make sure you still farm that like button, still farm the subscription button, still farm the bell next to that subscription button so you get notification each and every time I release an informative and opinionated video just like this one. Make sure you follow all of the social medias, the Facebook, the Instagram, the TikTok, the Twitter, everything, man. Daily content on there as well. Make sure you check out the shorts and the stories that we have on YouTube as well. And also make sure you stay tuned for all of the content. I'm starting to load up some of those film sessions for the draft class. I'm still working on my record prediction because, again, I want to do like a really detailed breakdown and job with that. I don't want to just go around guessing names, so stay tuned for that. And I have a whole lot more content and ideas. I want to do like a depth chart breakdown, a projected depth chart, all kinds of stuff. So make sure you stay tuned for all of that. But let's go ahead and dive into this video instead of wasting more of y'all time, man. Let's get it. Adam. And just to let you know, the reason that I have not given y'all an update on what's going on in OTAs as of technically by the time y'all are watching this Tuesday, May 21st, is because even though OTAs have resumed, they've started back up, but they are not letting the media to enter the practices right now. So we do not know what's going on right now at all. If we did, I would update y'all on everything. Y'all know anything I know, I'm going to give it to y'all. I don't hold back any information. The only reason I haven't done breakdowns is because there's technically nothing to break down. The Commanders are being more secretive this time around. And hey, man, even though I would love as much access as possible as a fan, I'm not going to lie. If I have to sacrifice some access in knowing what's going on in practice so that we can win more games, if that's what it really takes, then hey, do what you got to do. Adam Peters, Dan Quinn, and all of y'all. I feel like you could do both at the same time, but if I had to choose either or, I prefer to win games. As much as a fan as I am, I would love to know every little detail of what's going on, and then hopefully somebody comes out with like an article at the end breaking down what happened this week or something, and we can break that down. But as soon as I get information, as soon as I get clips from practice and things like that, y'all know I'm gonna give it to y'all. So I just wanted to go ahead and acknowledge that and let y'all know that's why I haven't been doing any videos on that. Now moving on to the first topic. Apparently the Washington Commanders and the Miami Dolphins will hold a joint practice together ahead of the August 17th preseason game that we have against each other. And this came from the Miami Dolphins side of things, directly from Mike McDaniel, their head coach. So apparently Miami Dolphins head coach Mike McDaniel said that they will be having one joint practice with the Washington Commanders before we play our preseason game, and Washington is visiting Miami in that second week of the 3-week preseason, just to let you know. And since that preseason game is in Miami, I'm assuming that the joint practice will happen in Miami as well, not in Ashburn. So we'll practice in Miami. We'll probably be there all week, and then we'll have that preseason game in Miami as well. And just to let you know, the Commanders opened the preseason with an away game versus another AFC East opponent in traveling to New Jersey to go against the New York Jets. And then we finished the preseason with the home game against the New England Patriots. So that's pretty interesting. All of our preseason games are dealing with the AFC East. Really interesting there. And Dan Quinn said that his views on joint practices have changed. he said that he now sees the real value in joint practices. He prefers one practice day before a preseason game and says once the preseason schedule comes out, they will work out on finalizing details. And that was all the way back on March 26th when they said that. So we already knew that we were at least getting one joint practice just from Dan Quinn saying that. And I thought that was interesting that he brought up the fact that he initially didn't really like joint practices. He didn't really see the value in it. But now, again, along with a lot of other things that he said that he's working on, he wants to go into this new head coaching opportunity and fix everything that he did wrong with the previous one with the Falcons. So, hey, I appreciate it. He's definitely done a lot of self-reflection. Even Logan Paulson himself, who used to play for Dan Quinn back at the Falcons, said that he even hit him up. He called everybody he could and asked for any piece of criticism and advice to see, like, what could he have done better along the way as being a Falcons head coach and what he could do better to be the Commanders head coach. And it sounds like one of those major differences is now embracing the joint practice. And I've always loved joint practices. I'm surprised that he didn't already, but either way it goes, I'm happy that we have some. And just to let you know, the Miami Dolphins apparently will have joint practices with all three of their preseason opponents. And they're going to have two with Atlanta, which is interesting, and then one each with Tampa Bay and Washington. And those are two NFC South teams and one NFC East team, so it's not like your preseason games are going to be held into one division by itself. That's just how ours ended up being. Well, all three of our preseason opponents happen to be in the same division, the AFC East, but that's not necessarily like a preseason requirement or rule. And also, thinking about going into like a joint practice with the Miami Dolphins, man, literally my first thought was Tyreek Hill versus Emmanuel Forbes. Poor Emmanuel Forbes, man. That's going to be a big time test for him. I mean, that Tyreek versus Forbes is going to be pretty crazy to watch. But at the same time, to Forbes' credit, anybody versus Tyreek Hill usually looks crazy. But I'm hoping that he can go out there and at least hold his own, gain a little confidence, at least win some of the snaps to where you're like, okay, you know, maybe I can't hold him down completely, but, you know, I'm starting to learn. I prefer for him to go against a really good receiver like that, a scary wide receiver that pretty much every corner in the NFL it really doesn't have much of a chance at the very least speed-wise. I prefer for him to go against really good top-tier wide receivers during the preseason and the joint practices, training camp, and things like that, rather than taking it easy in the offseason and then get to the regular season and have to go against this receiver gauntlet that we have to go against, and he's not prepared. So let's go ahead and go against Tyreek Hill now instead of in the regular season, basically, is my point. And let's go ahead and get those lumps out the way. Let's get through those growing pains. You're gonna learn. Boy, going against Tyreek Hill for an entire practice and a preseason game, you are going to learn. Now, also, I really hope that we can get at least two joint practices, at least add one more to the one that we already have with the Dolphins. And if I had to pick between our two other preseason opponents, easily the Jets over the Patriots for me as far as who I would want to joint practice with. I would love to do what the Miami Dolphins are doing and do three of them. But if we can only do one more, and JP Finley said, he tweeted back like weeks ago, like over a month ago, that he was hearing things behind the scenes. Maybe the Commanders will figure out a way to do two joint practices. So I've been looking forward to that news coming out. We already have one now down with the Dolphins, but again, with our other two preseason opponents, and it seems like if you're going to do a joint practice, you're going to do it against teams that you go against in the preseason, which pretty much cancels out the possibility of us doing it against the Ravens. We'll see how that goes, though. Highly doubt it, even though they're right there, still doubt that we do one against the Ravens, but it would be nice if we still found a way to do it at some point. But either way, if I had to choose between the Patriots or the Jets, please give me the Jets as that other joint practice. I mean, first of all, really the only advantage to playing the Patriots over the Jets in the preseason, having a joint practice with them instead of the Jets, would be one, Jaden versus May, and that's really just for us to go in there and stun on them real quick and show them who has the better quarterback, because our first round pick is going to be starting week 1. I'm not sure if theirs will be, and so that'll be like a fun little comparison right there. And then 2, it would be in the DMV, so the players wouldn't have to travel because we are the home team in that Patriots preseason game. So that would be pretty cool that they don't have to go all the way up to like New York to New Jersey to face the Jets like they would have to if we get that one. But at the same time, the Jets would be way better for every other reason other than those two. Like, just like the Dolphins, they would be like a really good measuring stick for us, especially if Aaron Rodgers is healthy. I mean, their offense and their defense on paper, talent-wise, should be great to where we would be able to see like where we really stand in this league right now. Because going against the Patriots, who are another team who look like they're destined to end up with another top 3 pick, I mean, we go out there and ball out against them. What do we really take from that? I mean, yeah, we're better than the Patriots, but what does that actually say? So I would love to go against the Dolphins, because say we struggle against one of those two, the Dolphins or the Jets, but then we come back against the second guy, the Dolphins or the Jets, with whichever one we didn't go have the joint practice with yet, and then we improve and we show that, okay, we got humbled in that first matchup, say against the Jets for the first one, and then we go against the Dolphins, and then we come in there and we show out and we look way better because we learned what we really needed to improve on the most going against the Jets. We internalized that, we focused on those things in our own practices amongst ourselves. Then we went to the Dolphins preseason and joint practice games, and with a mission in mind, and then we actually showed improvement. That's what I would prefer. That's just me. Again, if Aaron Rodgers is healthy, the Jets are a far better team than the Patriots. Really not even close. We almost should not have beaten the Jets last year. Shouts out to Greg Zerline for giving us that second overall pick. Much love to you. Now moving on. Also, Ian Rappaport tweeted and reported that former Packers All-Pro left tackle David Bakhtiari, who was recovering from knee surgeries, had a positive follow-up exam with expert Dr. Brian Cole, and Cole proclaimed him on the schedule for a 2024 season return. Cole is the chairman of orthopedics at Rush University Medical Center in Chicago and the chairman of surgery at Oak Park Hospital. So this is a very credentialed guy, and he's basically given the green light to David Bakhtiari to say that, hey, this guy's actually this healthy this time around. I forgot which player it was. It was a Packers player that was close to him that I believe is still currently on the Packers. And he said that this is the healthiest I've seen David Bakhtiari this offseason compared to like the last 3 or 4. And like, because usually he's gone into seasons, and we're going to get to his injury report. We're going to get to how many games he's missed the past few seasons, which is why he has a strong injury prone label onto him. But the point is, I want to preface that before we get there with saying that a lot of people close to him, I forgot exactly who said it, but it was a Packers player that said that going into those seasons where he ended up getting hurt and missing a lot of games, he was never 100% healthy going into those seasons. It was more so just a situation where the Packers need him. They have Jordan Love, still a young raw quarterback. We just need somebody to go out there and try to protect his blind side at all costs. Even if you're not 100%, you're better than anybody else we have backing you up. So they just went out there and hoped he could stay healthy. But he was not going into those seasons 100% like a lot of people are saying that he is now, which is more than likely why he ended up with those injuries. But we'll see what happens here. We're about to dive into his injury history, but first, Mitchell Tisler brings up a good point. Obviously, the Commanders have a need at left tackle right now. Obviously, who knows if Brandon Coleman is ready to start week 1. If he's not, we do have a problem. I like Cornelius Lucas, but he's a backup swing tackle in my eyes. I love him as a backup swing tackle. I don't love him as a starting left tackle, because you can't convince me that Charles Leno started over Cornelius Lucas that long, and Cornelius Lucas is supposed to be better than Charles Leno. You also can't convince me, like I've said in other videos, that Adam Peters and company and Dan Quinn and his new regime is higher on Cornelius Lucas than Ron Rivera and his regime was. You just can't convince me of that, because even Ron Rivera and those guys who brought Cornelius Lucas to the burgundy and gold felt like he was a backup tackle. You can't convince me that Adam Peters feels like, oh, suddenly, even though Rivera saw him as a backup tackle, Adam Peters and Dan Quinn and those guys see him as a starting left tackle that could protect. First of all, I mean, not only just a quarterback, your starting quarterback, but your franchise rookie, second overall pick quarterback that you just drafted just a month ago. Like, to expect that guy, Cornelius Lucas, to protect that guy and Jaden Daniels, I don't know, that's very risky. But moving on with the Mitchell Tisler tweet, just remember, Bakhtiari has only played in 1 game 2 of the last 3 seasons. Again, we're going to get to that soon. On paper, he's a fit. But if health is that big of a question mark, does he even really help? Well, let's dive into that. How serious are the health concerns? Well, just like Mitch Tisler said, he only played in 1 game each of the 2 of the last 3 seasons. So 2023 and 2021, he only started and played in 1 game each of those seasons. But in 2022, he started and played in 11 games. And then going back to 2020, 12 games. And then before then, he wasn't really getting hurt much. He started and played in all 16 games in 2019, all 16 games in 2018. Then he missed 4 games in 2017. he started and played in 12. But then going before that, 2016, all 16 games. Got hurt in 2 games in 2015, played in 14. 2014 at the 2013, played in every game possible as well. So really, he got hit with like an injury bug starting towards like the end of the 2020 season. Like the last quarter of the 2020 season, he hasn't been right since. But again, even in 2022, he played and started in 11 games. If we can get 5 games out of him, I'm happy. That's my whole thing. My whole thing, like I've been saying in several videos, sign him to the same contract that the Jets gave Tyron Smith. You could arguably probably get him for even cheaper. Tyron Smith is on a $6 million cap hit base deal right now. He's only costing the Jets $6 million against the cap. But it's so incentive-based and incentivized to where, depending on how many games Tyron Smith plays in and he's healthy in, he can earn up to $20 million, best case scenario. I feel like that's a win-win situation for both parties. I feel like that could be the same thing we could do with David Bakhtiari. Yes, he's injury prone. I'm fully aware that this guy's been injury prone. But again, there are reports saying that he was never fully healthy going into those seasons. They just kind of pushed him out there and forced him to play because, I mean, who else was going to protect the blind side of Aaron Rodgers a couple of years ago and then Jordan Love as of the past couple of years? They just, I mean, nobody else could do it. They were like, please just go out there and see if you can, and he kept getting hurt. And then now this is the first off season that he's going in 100% healthy, potentially, according to a lot of reports, even from a doctor himself, expert Dr. Brian Cole. And again, if you could just sign him to that Tyron Smith contract, what do you lose? What do you honestly lose from giving, I mean, potentially, I think at most $6 million against the cap, because David Bakhtiari has been so injury prone lately that I don't even think he would get the same amount that Tyron Smith got. I feel like worst case scenario for us, the most he would cost is that $6 million cap hit up to $20 million in incentives. And again, if he gets even anything less than that, sign him up today, in my opinion. But I feel like the whole thing is they're waiting to see if Brandon Coleman is truly not ready. They want to at least give him training camp reps where we have full pads, we have helmets, and there's full contact to see if he's actually ready or not. As of right now, we're not sure. They don't know, but they don't want to jump the gun and sign David Bakhtiari to $6 million and then find out sometime mid-July that Brandon Coleman was ready to go out there and be a starting left tackle. And now you're stifling his development by having a guy start over him where he could just go ahead and play right now if you wanted to. But I feel like, I mean, even then, David Bakhtiari is somehow healthy, which I doubt happens. Like I said, if you give us 5 games, I feel like that's enough for Brandon Coleman to be ready to go out there and start. I'm just not too sure about Brandon Coleman protecting Jaden Daniels' blind side week 1. Especially through that ugly gauntlet of how much we got to travel those first 4 weeks and things like that, like I broke down in my schedule breakdown from a few days ago. But hey, man, if you can give me David Bakhtiari in a left tackle and he just stays healthy for at least a little while, worst case scenario, if Brandon Coleman is ready to start, then just replace Andrew Wiley with him. And then David Bakhtiari, maybe he gets hurt, then move Brandon Coleman to left tackle, and now you have Andrew Wiley back at right tackle. I just feel like it's a win-win in all cases. I don't see what it would really hurt, honestly, if we go ahead and sign him to at most a $6 million cap hit worth of deal. Because you got to remember, even in last year, from the one game that he played in, Pro Football Focus had him with the highest pass blocking grade in the entire NFL. He still played at an all-pro level, even though he was only able to play 1 game last year, and back in 2022 played 1 game as well. He had an 89.9 pass blocking grade, which would have had him #1 in the NFL last year if he played enough snaps to actually be ranked amongst everybody. That's a higher grade than Tyron Smith, Tristan Wirfs, Christian Darrisaw, Laramie Tunsil, Rashawn Slater, Jordan Mailata, Trent Williams, everybody. A higher pass blocking grade than those guys, even though it was only 1 game. But let's go back to 2022, the year that he played in 11 games. He had an 87.8 pass blocking grade. That still would have been higher than everybody but Tyron Smith from last season. So this guy is still playing at an all-pro level when he is available. Again, the problem is if he's available, when he's available. But again, to that type of deal, what could it hurt, in my honest opinion? That's how I feel about it. Now, moving on, you also have Jaden Daniels at the Rookie Summit. We sent, I mean, I think it was only like 3 non-offensive players out of the like 40 rookies that went. We sent Jaden Daniels and our wide receiver Luke McCaffrey from the 3rd round. And as you see on your screen right now, we have some pictures of Jaden Daniels that came from it. My boy looking clean. We got the burgundy top with the white bottoms. My boy Luke McCaffrey over there looking clean as well. And everywhere you see Jaden Daniels, he looks like he's just having a really good time, man. I mean, he was at that rookie premiere living it up, man. Shouts out to the NFLPA for even having an event like that. I don't know what's going on with the pants he has on in this picture, but hey, man, he's swagging it out. I love the confidence. And then you also have this clip right here where you see Jaden Daniels and Luke McCaffrey walking out together with their uniforms on with the other rookies and things like that. And I mean, I'm liking the uniforms. I'm liking the look. Jaden Daniels looks a little bit bigger than you remember probably. He's always been tall, but the question is, how big is he actually? Does he actually have some muscle on him and things like that? Also, as you can see on this picture right here, they spent extensive time with some real legends. First of all, you see my boy Brock Bowers right there as well, but you also see Caleb Williams and Bo Nix, Drake May, and Malik Neighbors and those guys hanging out with Jay-Z and Tom Brady for an extensive amount of time, like a pretty extended amount of time. We're going to come back to that soon. I just wanted to show y'all that picture. Also, you have this video of Jaden Daniels and Luke McCaffrey that they put together to show them going into their uniforms and things like that. I like this as well. Then you also have this clip of Jaden Daniels warming up at the rookie premiere. Release looks clean per usual. You already know how that goes, man. We ain't worried about that. The mechanics are flawless. That's why he's getting a lot of CJ Stroud comparisons, because that was CJ Stroud's like main superpower, like the one thing you can bank on. CJ Stroud's mechanics are going to be on point. That's the same thing with Jaden Daniels, and that's why a lot of people are saying he may be just a faster but slightly less strong arm CJ Stroud. So I can't wait to see how he goes out there and performs. And then you also had him, of course, him and Malik Neighbors are hanging out whenever they can. They were somewhere else in LA because the rookie premiere event was happening in LA, and you know that's not necessarily Jaden Daniels' hometown. He's from the IE, which is not from far away, but he is from Cali. So he's very familiar with LA, I'm sure. He has on some chrome heart socks and everything, man. He over there hanging out with his boy Malik Neighbors and things like that. They just chilling even outside of the rookie premiere. Also, as you can see on the screen right now, these jerseys, I'm thinking they're clean. I like them. I don't know why a lot of people hate them. I'm gonna have to go get me a white Jaden Daniels jersey for sure. And now to some of the people that Jaden Daniels was hanging out with. First of all, you have this clip right here where he's with Quavo at the NFLPA premiere. I'm not exactly sure how many different celebrities were there, but you know, me being from Atlanta, I love seeing Jaden Daniels hanging out with Quavo. Quavo's a huge Georgia Bulldog fan too, like huge, always at the games and things like that. So I'm pretty sure he's fully aware that Jaden Daniels was the quarterback at LSU, but he's still rocking with him, and I appreciate that, man. So hey, man, much love to Quavo for showing some love to Jaden Daniels there. And then also, as you can see in these pictures on your screen right now, from that same group I mentioned earlier with Malik Neighbors and my dog Brock Bowers and Caleb Williams, Drake May, Bo Nix, and those guys right there, when they were with Tom Brady and Jay-Z, they had like a breakfast with them. And of course, you're gonna get the jokes about they chose the breakfast with Jay-Z and Tom Brady over the 500K. But honestly though, I love the fact, shouts out to Tom Brady and Jay-Z for taking time out of their days to actually talk to the rookies and coach them up and give them solid advice. I mean, and you can see in one of these pictures where like Jaden Daniels looks like he's having like a nice one-on-one moment with Jay-Z. So I'm hoping that Jay-Z is dropping some huge gems for him. So Jay-Z on the business side, then you have Tom Brady on the quarterback side. I feel like that is, if I had to pick two people that could talk to Jaden Daniels at the rookie summit, that would probably be my top two. I feel like they killed that combo right there, putting that together. Shouts out to the NFLPA. Jay-Z on the business side, you can't do much better for that, especially for a guy like Jaden Daniels, you know what I'm saying? And then Tom Brady on the quarterback side, who, I mean, he was never the most physically gifted, not the strongest arm, not the most mobile, not the strongest, nothing. Everything about him has been pure nuance, IQ, awareness, intelligence. And if you can give Jaden Daniels that, if you could take Tom Brady's brain and put it into Jaden Daniels' body with his mechanics, his speed, and his arm strength, I mean, that's literally best quarterback of all time potential. It's just hard to do that. I mean, if everybody could do it, everybody would be Tom Brady. There's not another Tom Brady in NFL history for a reason, but I just love the fact that Tom Brady is the one there dropping gems for Jaden Daniels to listen to. Now, of course, you also have Drake May, Caleb Williams, or Bo Nix there listening. I'm just hoping Jaden Daniels listened the most and processed the best. I hope he walks away taking the most from this out of any of those quarterbacks. I mean, it's competition mode. I mean, I like Drake May, you know, up in the draft process and things like that, but Jaden Daniels is our guy. guy. You know what I'm saying? So I'm hoping Drake May, Bo Nix, and Caleb Williams somehow never heard a word. I hope it sounded like a Charlie Brown adult talking when Tom Brady was talking and only Jaden Daniels heard the information. That's what I'm hoping for. But again, Tom Brady was dropping gems. Like, here's a clip from it right here.
When you have 53 guys on the team and you think it's about you, it ain't about you, it's about us. And the biggest problem I see with a lot of the young players today, you guys are making it too much about I and me because of social media, because of branding and all that. It's fine, you're not gonna win. There was a difference between being a star and being a champion. Every day was a big day. I treated a preseason game, I treated a regular season like it was a Super Bowl. So when I got to the Super Bowl, it was just another day for me.
You're gonna evolve or you're not. You're gonna keep evolving or you're not. And if you're not, the world still spins. If you're forever curious, you'll always keep getting better.
Again, man, they were there dropping gems on those players. I'm not sure why, like, Luke McCaffrey wasn't a part of that, even though, I mean, Malik Neighbors is a wide receiver like Luke McCaffrey, and Brock Bowers is a tight end. I'm happy that my Georgia dog was there, though. Hey, I'm not complaining at all, but I wish Luke McCaffrey could have been there as well. But either way, I'm happy. Most importantly, the guy that needed to be there the most, Jaden Daniels, was there, and I'm very happy that he was there to soak up as much knowledge and experience as possible from that, because usually they just go there, they take their pictures, they get told, like, what not to do and what to do when it comes to, like, gambling, being a rookie, and how you manage your money and things like that. We don't usually have Jay-Z and Tom Brady speaking at those events. So Jaden Daniels picked a great year to get drafted, because I mean, this is not a typical thing. This is not a yearly thing to have Jay-Z and Tom Brady dropping as many gems on you as possible. So I really appreciate the fact that Jaden Daniels got to experience that. Now it's time to get the work again. He's already back in the DMV going through OTAs. I wish I could update y'all on what's going on, but nobody knows. Nobody has access to it right now except for like actual Washington Commanders faculty, front office members, and coaches and things like that. So as soon as I get any information, any clips, anything from OTAs, I got y'all. I mean, we're not even seeing the typical Washington Commanders where they post their own highlight of what happened in practice that nobody else had access to. We have literally nothing. You would think that OTAs never even happened yesterday, as in Tuesday, May 21st. Hopefully we get some information today, as in May 22nd on a Wednesday, but we'll see. I'll keep y'all updated on any information that I get as soon as I get it. Trust me. But yeah, man, that's the end of this video. Please get in the comment section. Let me know how you feel about everything discussed in this video. Please stiff arm that like button, stiff arm the subscription button, and stiff arm the bell next to that subscription button so you get notification each and every time I release an informative and opinionated video just like this one. And I really appreciate y'all. Make sure y'all stay tuned. I can't wait. I'm about to start scheduling some live streams for y'all and with y'all, because this stream deck, because y'all went so crazy donating to the channel during the draft live streams, I went ahead and got that. So I have a whole lot of reactions, way more buttons, way more situations and celebrations. I have like a button specifically to boo the refs now. Like, I have like, it's chanting boo refs, you suck, and things like that, and it's like a picture of a ref looking stupid and things like that. I can't wait, man. We're gonna get these live streams going, but until we get to the game day live streams where I'm gonna show y'all a lot of those different reactions and buttons that I have, I do need to get some live streams going so we can review the draft. I still haven't done a draft review live stream with y'all. I want to do a call-in show for y'all to call in and voice your opinions about everything. So make sure you stay tuned for all of that, man. I really appreciate y'all getting film sessions for the draft class as well, and some notable and drafted free agents. I have a lot of different video ideas that I'm working on as well. I'm gonna catch y'all later. I really appreciate y'all. I am out.